What do you think about an almost 25 years old Apple computer modified to run Windows 11? Here is the story of a small project that will change a piece of computer history into a useful device.
This is G4 Cube, an Apple computer that can launch Windows, run any game on high settings, edit video, and do everything whatever decent modern PC should do. Well, at least right now. Originally, this beautiful piece of hardware has been released in year 2000. Steve Jobs always liked cubes.
This is a stunning product, quite possibly the most beautiful product we've ever designed.
And did create this one as an alternative for Power Mac G4. He wanted to create something that is smaller and more stylish than Power Mac. Unfortunately, result wasn't perfect because it was also more expensive and without the possibility to upgrade many of the components. 25 years ago, for majority of the people, functionality and price was more important than aesthetic, especially when we are talking about the computers used for work, and this is what for this was created. As a result, Apple sold only 150,000 of these units and cancelled this product line after 1 year only. Just for comparison, the same year Apple sold more Power Macs during 1 quarter and few times more iMacs. Despite this commercial failure, Steve Jobs said it was a wrong concept, fabulously implemented. He loved the shape, he loved the design, and I do love it as well. Even 25 years later, this timeless design looks modern, and as I know, that's the only computer on the exhibition of Museum of Modern Art in New York. Since I saw it first time, I wanted to have it on my desk, one of them. Unfortunately, 25 years old hardware and software is useless today. This device has been created to be used as a computer, not just to leave it on the shelf, and I want to use it also like that. So, having this in my head, I started to think what can I do to make it useful again. The easiest solution would be to place inside the whole Mac Mini with M-series processor. I saw some people did it already. There you can find examples on YouTube and on the internet. But there is few issues that I see. First, keeping new complete computer inside the old case is a bit strange for me. Also, it's not a challenge. Second issue that I see is that I like the design of many, especially those older Apple devices, but I'm not the biggest fan of Apple software of macOS. Yes, you may hate me right now, but I want to use this computer also as a gaming PC, so Mac OS is not the perfect solution. Those are the main issues that I have to use it with simple M1 modern Apple PC inside. But what else can I do? Can I put something inside that would be better, would work with all the modern games and will satisfy me? The space is quite limited. It's only 20 by 20 by 20 centimeters, or if you prefer 8 by 8 by 8 inches. So not so much for the whole PC. So I started to think, what can I do? It was step by step. So first I had to disassemble it, the old one that I own. Unfortunately, I don't have this disassembly process on any video. I did it before I thought that it may be a good idea to make this video. But at the end, when it was already in pieces, I figured that only what I can use are 2-3 pieces of the original hardware. So the whole interior have to be replaced.
First of all, I had to define my expectations.
I want to have this computer with form and functionality as close as possible to the original one. Second, I didn't want to make any permanent modifications on the case. There is no many DOS computers, and everything I do must be reversible. So any drilling or machining is not an option. Third, computer must be fully functional and usable as a decent daily and gaming PC. Fortunately, standard mini ITX motherboard size fits perfectly in the case. I chose AMD platform, MSI Edge B650i with Ryzen 5 7600. That seems to be the best compromise between the power consumption and efficiency. First hard decision was about the power supply. I could use an external power supply, keeping internally only a small direct current converter, exactly in the same way as Apple did it. This would let me to use a higher power consumption components, but with higher power consumption, temperature would be an issue. Looking for a compromise, I found a 250 watt HDPlex power supply that fit into the case perfectly well with the other components. Considering that RTX 4060 is the best card small enough for our needs and consume only 115 watts in the peak, this power supply should be sufficient. Having parts and requirements defined, I had to figure how to fit this into this using this. Well, definitely I need some engineering and additional parts. Of course, graphic card can be mounted directly on the motherboard due to the handle and clipping mechanism. It wasn't easy to create a layout for all components and provide sufficient cooling with the cold air sucked from the bottom, provided directly to the hottest components and at the end pushed through the upper chimney. To achieve it, I had to create a channel for the air in the central part of the case and two 50mm fans on the top. I used steel parts for the top and bottom walls. The rest of the walls and interface parts is managed by the plastic 3D prints. After printing all the parts, it was the time for final assembly. When I tested components outside of the case, the biggest surprise was the temperature of the PSU. Under the load, I was barely able to touch it. After some optimizations like graphic card under voltage, the highest power consumption in the peak for the whole setup was 230 watts. Declared PSU efficiency is 95%, so it shouldn't be an issue. Nevertheless, temperatures were way too high in my opinion. To improve it, at least a bit, I decided to add a fan as active cooling. Hard to say if this helped a lot, but at least I felt better with that. I don't need CD-ROM, as it was designed by Apple. Instead, I used that slot for card reader and external USB socket. The idea was to use the original proximity button as a power switch. I found on some old forum an idea how to do it. Unfortunately, power switch connected according to the schematic that I found doesn't work for me. I have a constant voltage on both pins that should work as a switch. As a temporary solution, I'm using external power button, but I won't leave it like that, and in the future I'll try to find an alternative to turn on that PC in the same way as original Cube. Except that PC works fine, temperatures even under the load aren't reached throttling limits, and all current games work perfectly fine with high settings, at least in Full HD. One small issue is related with the accessibility for the USB-C and card reader through the slot originally designed for the CD-ROM. And now I can show you the result. So, first of all, I wanted to keep the original functionality. So, same as in the original Mac Cube, we have a box cube inside the cube. This is just the cover, the case, and the whole computer we can take off, the same as originally. This is what we have right now. As you may see, inside the mechanism and the case is very simple. We have just two brackets that will keep everything in place. Will are taking the weight of the whole computer, and basically that's it. We have the chimney to keep the airflow, and except that we have only beautiful piece of plastic and a little bit of metal. The cube, as you see, is quite similar to this what we've got from the original Apple Cube, but it contains a little bit of modern hardware. It works fine. Of course, there is few drawbacks that I would like to change or improve it if I would like to do this project again. But after all, I'm pretty happy, and for sure I will use it as a daily PC. And that was the target. It's also quite easy to slide inside. With the final result, I'm quite happy. To be honest, I'm even very happy because it looks quite nice, works fine, and I think that I'm succeed with the whole project. Maybe except those power buttons. This is something that I a little bit regret that doesn't work, but I will come back to this topic in the future. Now what left is the display. I would like to use something that will aesthetically fit with that small cube with Apple logo. So my next smaller than this project is to use or convert iMac, maybe from 2012, into the display that will be operated by this PC. If you have some comments or maybe advices, what should I do better? Let me know. I will try to implement this. Maybe if this will be something interesting, I will create another short movie as an update to this what we have here.